Happy New Year, everybody. I hope everybody had a fantastic night last night and you're all willing and ready to go for 2025. And the transfer window has officially opened, guys. It is now wide open for business. And of course, Newcastle United are expected to be involved in the transfer window this time around with certain positions needed covering. Now, we are obviously in for players and discussions will be taking place. But it looks like we're very close to making the first signing. That is 17-year-old Evan Mooney from St Mirren. He is a striker, but obviously you'll notice that I said 17-year-old. This guy is very much for the academy, I think, to start with. Although he has made his senior debut for St Mirren and scored a senior goal as well. He's having a breakthrough season. He's contracted to St Mirren until 2028. But, as I say, made his professional debut in the defeat at Hearts. However, he has come on a few more times. He's a Scottish Youth International and scored his first senior goal in a 3-2 win at St Johnstone. So he is very talented. And Arsenal are also looking at him. I must throw that in there as well. It seems like every player we get linked with in this coming winter window, Arsenal are there as well. So whether we like it or not, that's just going to be the case. Because Arsenal, apparently put off by the price of Alexander Isak, of course, will be looking to bolster their ranks. But again, teams are going to be looking to bolster their academies as well. And Newcastle United, certainly under Paul Mitchell, we are one of these teams that really does go for academy players. We've of course brought in young players in the past, Garang Kual, who seems to have fallen off a cliff unfortunately, and we know what happened with Minte. He's now performing brilliantly at Brighton, forced to sell him because of PSR issues, but we do have a good track record of bringing some of these youngsters in. Now, I'm not saying that this kid is going to come straight into the Newcastle's first team. I don't think that's going to happen. I think he's going to be an academy player. And it will frustrate a lot of people when they read, I've read several headlines this morning saying Newcastle United about to complete their first transfer of the window, and you're thinking, wow, that's a very quick start. But it's a youngster. Newcastle scouting team have been monitoring Mooney closely in the last couple of months. Preliminary talks have apparently already taken place with his representatives. So, you know, it is quite down the line, this. The Magpies are obviously not the only team to make contact with St Mirren. Arsenal are included in that. But it's all about persuading now. You know, it's similar to senior players, really. When you look at it, you think, right, how will you tempt that senior player to come to Newcastle rather than an Arsenal or whoever else it may be? You have to sell the club. You have to be able to have the ability to sell the club and convince even youngsters that this is the place for their development. This is where they're going to hit the big time. And certainly with Eddie Howe there, etc., we've got the team behind Eddie Howe as well to help this kid along. And it's all about how you sell the club. And obviously we were able to do that with Garang Kual. We were able to do that with Minte. Now we're looking to do it with Mooney. It's... You know what? I mean, it could be a good signing. I don't know much about the kid, to be honest. And a lot of people will say, oh, it's the Scottish League. It's the Dog and Duck League, if you like. But listen, he's 17-year-old. He's come through to the first team. The manager at St Mirren has been confident to put the kid in. And now he scored his first senior goal as well. So it's an option for Newcastle United, which it looks like they're going to take. And let's be honest, we need all the strikers we can get coming through the ranks, whether they're ready now or in the future. But we do need somebody now. There's no doubt about that. But I don't think this is the signing for the here and now. I think this is one of Paul Mitchell's signings where he's going to have a look and you know, bring somebody in that could be a big talent in the future. Now, one name that has been mentioned loads of times throughout transfer windows, certainly the last three, I think, is James Trafford at Burnley. Again, this morning, links with him in several media reports, thinking that Newcastle United are going to go back in the mix for the goalkeeper. Now, this will be on the proviso that Martin Dubravka leaves. We won't need to bring anybody else in if Martin Dubravka decides to stay at Newcastle United. And at the moment, you have to say, Dubravka is playing well enough and he's confident enough to maybe hold on to the number one place now. With Nick Pope injured, not really playing too well either. But then Dubravka comes in, he's gathering the clean sheets. He looks confident coming for crosses, etc. His distribution is so much better. So you maybe get the feeling that Dubravka might just say, well, you know, I'm going to hold out now till the end of the season because I'm in a position where I'm Newcastle United number one. Nick Pope has got another month or so out. A lot more games for Martin Dubravka to play and prove himself. that he's worth keeping on. It's an interesting one for me because Dubravka does have a big decision to make. It says Newcastle were in negotiations for Trafford last summer, but Burnley refused to sell him for 15 million quid. I think that was too much, to be honest, that they were asking for, and I don't really blame Newcastle United for pulling out that deal. Now, he's still got 2 years left on his contract. He has made 23 appearances this season, so he's played plenty games, and he's got 9 clean sheets. Now, it was that, he was dropped earlier on in the season, remember. He wasn't playing too well, but he's come back in, and he's taken hold of that number 1 position at Burnley. So it's certainly an option that Newcastle are looking at. But this is what Eddie Howe said about Martin Dubravka, of course. He's not really keen to see him leave. He says, I've been aware of the rumours and the talk about the deal with Martin Dubravka, but I don't think it's done. Certainly, we would not want to lose a goalkeeper that is playing for us currently. That wouldn't make sense. It's not a deal that we would want to sanction. So he's saying we would want to sanction. Now, I don't know whether that is Eddie and the backroom staff or whether it's just Eddie and his coaching staff, and the hierarchy at Newcastle may well look at that as different and say, look, we can get money for Dubravka from Saudi. We've got the opportunity here to get some revenue in the door. Let's bring him. Let's send him to Saudi and we'll have the money to buy Trafford. Trafford is a young goalkeeper. Somebody that could be number 1 at Newcastle United for years to come. But it's whether it makes sense as a deal, because Trafford was deemed as the perfect goalkeeper to back up Pope and eventually become Newcastle's number 1, like I've just said there, by the backroom team. And should Dubravka leave by the end of the month, a bid could be assembled to lure him to Tyneside in this window. But Newcastle would wait until the summer to assess their options if Pope does not recover before the window shuts. So really, it's all about whether Dubravka wants to head out and whether Nick Pope is going to be fit. If Nick Pope's fitness is still an issue throughout this month, I don't think Dubravka is going anywhere, to be honest, because I think it will be a huge risk selling Dubravka, bringing in James Trafford and throwing him straight in. I think it will be a huge risk. Yes, we've got Vlachodimos there as well. It does not look like Vlachodimos is the man that Eddie Howe is confident in putting in between the sticks. I think if that was going to be the case, he would have been the Premier League goalkeeper. I can see Vlachodimos coming in for the FA Cup game. No problem with that at all. But I think Eddie Howe looks at Dubravka as his number 1 at the minute. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. So it all depends. It all depends on Dubravka himself, whether he wants to stay, and Nick Pope's injury, of course. And finally, Sandro Tonali has posted on Instagram and pretty much, I don't know whether this is a deliberate way of Sandro saying, I am not going anywhere. I don't like these rumours linking me with a return to Italy, etc., because I love it at Newcastle United. But it was very interesting, his post. Of course, he's established in the starting 11 now. Did have there was a big talking point about Tanali sitting on the bench a lot earlier this season. I think Eddie Howe made a big mistake because the change around in the team when Tanali's come in is nothing short of sensational. So I think he did make a mistake, and I think he realised that, and he's one of the first names now on the team sheet. And of course, when he wasn't playing, there was a lot of rumours kicking around. I'm not happy. I want to go back to Milan, or I want to go back to Italy. I don't like sitting on the bench. You can understand him maybe being disappointed to be on the bench, but I don't think anything's come out from Sandro's camp saying that he wants to go. Nothing at all. I think it's been very much, once again, the Italian media. We know what they can be like. They were very cheeky about Newcastle United when it came to Botman, of course. We got Botman. We've now got Tanali. And I don't think Tanali wants to go anywhere. What he put on Instagram after the win at Old Trafford, he says, stronger, faster, hungrier. We keep pushing. Magpies, enjoy the end of the year. Can't wait to see you in 2025 for more of these incredible nights. And the last few words in that post, basically, see you in 2025. And he wants more incredible nights. Clearly talking about Champions League football or European football at that stage. He has seen what St James's Park can be like under the lights. He's witnessed it. He knows what a special place it is, European nights under the lights at St James's Park. He wants more of it, just like all the other players in the squad wanted as well. But it kind of shuts up everybody because it's always the same old, isn't it? When players, yes, they've been out for a while, but they've come back and now they're established in the team. It's always other media. It's never the Northeast media. It's quite a lot of the time, well, 99% of the time anyway, the foreign media, isn't it? And certainly the Italians love to have a dig at us. They did it, like I say, with Botman. They've done it with Tanali, but there's no way that Sandro's going anywhere. And, you know, it'd have to take an awful lot of money to get Tanali back out to St James's Park. He is a mainstay now in the midfield with, of course, Bruno, who has, you know, in the same report, it's in Bruno tells Tanali to stay, and really praising Tonali's performances and how well they do together. He says, "Come on, bro, I want you in." Yet he commented on Tonali's post. These two have got a special understanding now, along with Joe Linton. And, you know, Willock fitting in there, Miley to a degree, Longstaff to a degree. We've got a very, very strong midfield there now. And I don't think anybody wants to rupture that. The players themselves will feel now, given the current form, just how far they can take this team. And given how we're playing, the team is a settled 11, apart from maybe having to make a change here for an injury or a change for a suspension here and there. We have a very, very settled 11 in the Premier League, which is at an incredible confidence level right now. And we need to keep that core there. But listen, there's going to be plenty of shows coming up on the channel with transfers. We've got a transfer show tonight. If you're watching this on Wednesday, New Year's Day, 7 o'clock tonight, we've got a transfer show. We'll be looking at some of the players that have been linked and what they could bring to the squad should Newcastle United sign them. So you're going to get a lot of transfer shows, guys, obviously, during the transfer window. So if you have enjoyed this new show, please do give it a like. And, of course, if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, please do subscribe. We are on the way to 35k. We want to build and build and build this channel and bring all the Newcastle United live commentary, news, all sorts to you as soon as we get them at the Toon Review. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Have a wonderful New Year's Day, and we'll see you back tonight for the transfer show. In the meantime, take care.